Ian has so rich experience, and he has told us already many stories, but there are so many other stories that would be interesting for us as politicians to listen to. But actually there is one story that is absolutely showing the heart of Ian, and also in a country that is so much on the news now, mainly Armenia. Because as you know, after more than 30 years, there is now the prospect of being peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So even to talk about Armenia is very important. And I know that Ian did something very, very special when there was a terrible, terrible earthquake that was not reported so much in our media, in the Western media, but he knew about it and he did something about it. So couldn't you tell us about what happened and what you did in this terrible time of the earthquake of Armenia?
Well, yeah, it wasn't just me. There were lots of people involved. This earthquake in December 1988 killed 25,000 people, terribly injured 26,000 people, 360,000 people were made homeless. I was there, coincidentally, doing a tour a year later, and I went to visit Spitak, which was the epicenter of the earthquake, which was 6.8. On the surface, which is immense. And I was shown around by the mayor of Spitak, and I saw some incredible things, including what they call the Italian village, which is temporary homes for those, as many as they could, make homeless. And some vivid images remain, particularly one old lady standing on the steps of a temporary home, holding a family portrait, which was, I looked very closely, and there were 28 people in it, and children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and she was the only one remaining alive. And she was still stunned years later. She was catatonic virtually. And the mayor was explaining that she just stands with a photograph all the time. He told me that after the earthquake, the music stopped, that there was no more music on the radio, just somber music. The music in the churches was no longer. Even the birds had stopped singing. And so we talked a bit, and I had been to a place called Gillan, which is nearby, but it also suffered. And there was a music school there. There was snow on the inside of the building. The children had frozen fingers. There were no instruments that worked. There was a piano that was sort of horribly out of tune and broken. And so I said to the mayor, when you're ready, let us know and we can start the music again, symbolically. And it took 25 years. In the meantime, we got a lot of mates together and made a Live Aid Armenia record, raised a lot of money, which we sent out there. And 25 years later, we started building the school in Gillan, the music school. And we not only built the school, but we had a container full of instruments, orchestral instruments, contemporary instruments, every instrument you could think of, plus 2 pianos, band kits, and all the accessories like strings and sticks and plectrums and stuff like that. And eventually we opened this school. It was fantastic. It had central heating. The president was there, the archbishop was there. And I went to the cathedral in New York, and we spoke there. The Armenian community around the world, as well as everyone I could think of, made great contributions. And now that school, I'm in touch regularly, and the school is absolutely flourishing. And there's some lovely kids there learning to play music, which is always a wonderful thing. I've not been back to Spitak yet, but my subliminal message to the mayor is the music has started again, so we're very pleased with that. It's an absolute terrible thing. But once again, you can see that music is it's symbolic, really, but it's in all of our hearts. And it was a great target that we met. Yeah, great memory.
Thank you very much. And then the kidney disease just one word about this extraordinary experience you had of talking music and not politics with no other than the former president of Russia, Medvedev. How did you do that?
Well, when Dmitry was doing his incumbency to help change the constitution for future presidents, we were invited to the presidential private residence, and we had dinner there, and he was charming. And we sat around the table, and he told us the story of how music, particularly our music, our kind of music, was prohibited. It was forbidden in the Soviet Union and many other eastern places under the Soviet regime. I personally know of two men, one in Leipzig and one in Warsaw, who were imprisoned for 2 years for being caught in possession of Deep Purple rock. Literally, personally, I thought they should have got a bit longer, but he told me about his school days, and they wanted to hear a Deep Purple record. It was forbidden, but they persuaded the teacher to have a music class on Friday afternoons, and so they bought the record, and he remembers clearly that they sat down, the teacher gave them instructions, they could listen to the record, they could make notes, they could discuss it, they could analyze it, but they were absolutely forbidden to enjoy it, or show any sign of enjoying it. But he told me that he learned his first English words from Child in Time, and he also realized at the time that there were kids outside the Soviet Union just like him, just like the Soviet Union kids. So whether you're talking to your worst enemy or not, wouldn't it be nice to be able to sit across the table and just get started with the conversation with the talk about rock and roll or some music or sport or culture or whatever it might be. So I often think that's in the hearts of people of our generation. Music was very important internationally at the time because the world was expanding amazingly. I saw so many things. Our first visit to Japan, the cultures we came across that were so different to ours, and it was a great education. But I remember that meeting with Medvedev very well, and we talked of nothing else but music. There was an amusing end to the meal when it was time to go. Our guitar player, Steve Morse at the time, he picked up his place card and said, "Mr. President, it's been great. Would you mind signing this for me as a souvenir?" So Dmitry looked a bit embarrassed and said, "Yes, of course." And then Don Airy said the same thing. And I'm looking down, and mine's gone. And I looked at him. He said, "Ian, would you mind signing this for me?" so it was nothing political at all. It was the importance of culture and diplomacy. I think in future, if we've got something common to talk about, apart from that antipathy, apart from that anger, apart from the rage or the entrenched positions that we have, if there's some way of opening the door, keeping the side door, the back door open with whatever it might be, well, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. Yeah. Thank you.
Isn't that wonderful words for a conference? Thank you so much.